Good morning, everybody. This is your 2023 Rockcrusher Challenge Rider Briefing. This is the third race in the Gravel Cup Series in our sixth year. So we're going to use this rider briefing as we have in the past few years in lieu of me saying lots of things at the start line and people in the back really not being able to hear it. So first and foremost, thank you to our partners. So once Lauf is back with us for the fifth year, Chamois Butter, all of our bike shops. We'll have Matthew Nunes with us this weekend at the aid station on course, which you guys will hit twice over on the east side of the course. So Matt Nunes with Boardtown Bikes. He has been with us since the very first year of Gravel Cup. So definitely stop and see him. Packet pickup on Friday night will be at Boardtown Bikes in Starkville. So give Matt a big high five whenever you see him. Check out the Boardtown Bikes Facebook page. He actually posted a tech tips video the other day around brakes and brake pad selection for different races. So some of us may not know the difference between organic or sintered or semi-metallic pads, and Matt went through all of those details and gave some guidance on which pads to select for given race conditions. Sodero, Visit Hattiesburg, Conks Care, all those guys really make it possible for us to put on Gravel Cup, number one. Number two, provide you with premium swag. So I'm a big fan of giving you things that you'll actually like and use at races. This weekend in Ackerman, you'll get this sweet Gravel Cup hat. It's a premium Boco hat, so nothing cheap about it at all. I love it. I've been wearing it the past couple of weeks since we got them in. Flow Formulas supporting us this year on course with race nutrition. So we'll have coolers of Flow at the aid station and at the start finish line. Friday packet pickup, like I mentioned, is at Boardtown in Starkville. All of the race day activities on Saturday will be in Ackerman. So if you look at that, pre-race email that went out today as well, you will see all kinds of good information in there around logistics. You'll see a bird's eye view of the town. Ackerman's a very small town. Parking is somewhat of a premium, but we have some adjacent lots that we have access to. And packet pickup will be inside at the Chamber of Commerce building that's noted on there with check-in, just like it was last year. So a great indoor facility that we have access to, thanks to the Chamber of Commerce. The course is exactly the same as it was last year. So if you look at the Rockcrusher 5100 route that is in the guidebook, that'll be in this email that you're hopefully reading today, course is the same. We may, depending upon conditions, so I'm sure everybody has been watching the weather this week. Our friends up in Memphis, it looks like they got hit pretty hard with ice. But we're keeping a close eye on conditions this week. And when we're out marking the course on Friday, we do know of a couple areas that may be, questionable, and we'll have potential reroutes. But we'll, just like we did at Camp Shelby, if there are any course changes, whether they're big or small, we will over communicate those at check-in on Friday, Saturday, Facebook, email, all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to be very aware of course conditions and safety and things like that. The course is, I'd say, partially county roads and partially national forest roads. So one of my favorite things about Ackerman is the diversity of conditions that you'll be in, road conditions. So it'll vary from very hard packed, like sand-based roads, to some chunkier gravel on some of the spicier climbs. And then the county roads, they tend to be traveled a little bit more, so you'll see some thicker gravel in those spots. And then, of course, just like we did last year, the finish, or the close to the finish of the race, will go through the Ackerman Country Club, which I think is a really cool feature. It's not very often that you get to ride your bike through a golf course. And the other reason that we put that in starting last year, was to avoid this long notorious road section, coming back into Ackerman that had a few country dogs on it. So the golf course avoids some of those, some of the highest density of country dogs out there. But that's not to say that you won't run into dogs on course. So definitely be aware of dogs on course. The hundreds at Ackerman do come through the start finish between laps. So you guys will go through the golf course, come back into Ackerman, pass through the arch. So number one, you'll get timing splits on your laps. Number two, you'll have the ability to get to your vehicles, to resupply, get bottles, all that kind of fun stuff. It is, of course, an open course, so follow the rules of the road, have a blinky, take care of one another out there on the course. There's only, I think on the sort of the southeast side of the course, you do cross a 2-lane highway. Just be aware, right? It kind of transitions from gravel on one side to gravel on the other, but just be aware whenever you cross that 2-lane road. Food at noon. So Tony and Stephanie, who have been supporting us at Oxford, Camp Shelby, and then again in Ackerman, they'll be there with us again this weekend. They're actually from a town close to Ackerman, so this is sort of their home race from a catering standpoint. Like I mentioned, the hat is the swag this weekend. If you weren't at any of the some of the previous races and you want to buy bottles or maybe like the Sedera wallet or whatnot, we should have some of that stuff left over. Of course, we are very, very closely, as I'm sure all of you are. We are watching the weather. So another thing that you'll see in the email that comes out today is the race day forecast. I was actually surprised looking at last year's email this week. It's about 10 degrees warmer in Ackerman on Saturday than it was last year. So if you were in Ackerman last year, you can expect to be a little bit warmer as the day progresses. We are getting a lot of rain pushing through today, but I'm super hopeful with the wind that is coming, kind of getting sucked in the back of that system on Friday when we're out setting up course. I'm super confident that a lot of the roads are going to get blown off by that wind. So you see the forecast is like 15 to 25 mile an hour winds with gusts into like the 30s, 35 mile an hour. So that on race day would be kind of demoralizing, right, to have that kind of a wind. But on Friday for the setup day, it is going to be awesome to blow some of that water off of the course and help dry it out a little bit. So super hopeful about the forecast, but definitely prepare for conditions. It is going to be a cold start for our 100 milers. So prepare for, high 20s, low 30s, but then as the sun comes up, definitely starting to warm you up a little bit. You'll be able to, of course, drop any layers or, maybe even swap layers that you might put in your aid station, bag, your drop bag, for Matthew to have waiting for you at that aid station. And then DocuSign email. So if you are racing with us this weekend, please sign that DocuSign waiver. If you're not racing with us, do not sign the waiver. That is a good indication to us that, hey, I didn't show up on Saturday, just so we can account for everyone that may or may not be at the race. And then last but not least, one thing that Lauf has brought to us as part of their sponsorship this year is every single race will be doing a drawing for $1,000 gift certificate that can go towards the purchase of a new Lauf bike. We love these bikes, not just because they're partners, but they're friends, and we've been riding them, for a number of years since we met Benny and Ollie and those guys in Iceland. So, without further ado, got another bowl full um, of names from the survey last week. So these names came from the Camp Shelby survey, and once again, and I think there were over 100 people that that responded to that survey. So once again, thank you for filling out those surveys. It does a couple of things for us. It helps us quantify economic impact. Anybody that's in that, in that space, has put on races before, how important that is to be able to show the community the impact that we're having on them. And then secondly, it helps us make the race better for you. So of course there's some things, structurally that we may not be able to change this year, but a lot of the changes that we've made over the years, like adding, another category for 60 plus, changing some of the scoring dynamics and things like that. Those things have come directly from you guys from these surveys. So thank you for filling those out. We had, I think, over 100 people fill out the survey this year, hence the big bowl of paper. So without further ado, we will see who is the lucky winner this week. And, oh my goodness. So Egla Richie Vincent. So Egla is a member of the Major Taylor Red Tails team out of Montgomery, Alabama. Camp Shelby was actually her first gravel race ever. So Egla, congrats. You're the big winner this week. We'll touch base with you on how to access that $1,000 Lauf gift certificate. So with that, y'all, thank you all very much for taking a few minutes to listen to this, and we'll see you either Friday night at Boardtown in Starkville or Saturday morning at the Chamber of Commerce building downtown Ackerman. See you guys soon.